My arch nemesis, pistons.
The program.
So this is an entire COSWORTH XD program.
Yes.
Huh. It's easier in the rotary.
There you go.
That's sick.
sick.
We are in Van Nuys at Ed Pink's Racing Engine. So this is a legendary name for me, and I never thought that I would have a reason to come here or be part of any adventure here, but there is potentially a deal of a lifetime behind these doors.
All of this, everything the light touches is now mine.
This entire room is everything on top of the completed engines, all of the coils, injector harnesses, wiring harnesses, ignition boxes. Oh, dude, the torque to yield.
Oh, the ones we reused?
Yeah. Look at this, double valve springs. We can finally run this engine just forever. This is the tool for doing the heads.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Dude, you know what this is?
No.
This is the mold for the carbon fiber pieces.
Oh.
Isn't that... You never see this.
We can give that to Nelson.
Yeah, Nelson can make us some, like, snowflakey ones. This is what keeps us in business, driving the shit out of this car. But wait till you see the actual mother load. So here's what everybody else is going to go absolutely insane about. This is like a tenth of what all is here. And so they're gonna get forklifts to move some of their other storage stuff out, but they've got crates of multiple motors inside those as well. But these are all everything from the 97 kart INDYCAR era. These are every motor, short of ones that are in everybody else's hands, these are all the motors used in INDYCAR. So I officially own all of INDYCAR's engines back from 97. Not all, you know, there were other brands, but all the COSWORTHs from 1997-ish. When my dad came into town to watch us dyno the 12 rotor, I could have picked him up in this, the Old Faithful Stallion, but thanks to Turo, I was able to pick him up in style. Well, that's one of many cool things that you can do. Turo is the world's largest car sharing marketplace. There are over 1,400 makes and models to choose from, and there are some amazing hosts using the platform. While I ended up picking my dad up from the airport, it's so much easier to go through Turo, and it can even potentially be dropped off at the airport ready for you, or even at your hotel. It's so convenient, very straightforward, fast, and of course you get more choice in what you get to drive. Especially as a car enthusiast, you can pick something a little bit more sporty, or when you're really trying to save fuel, maybe you do get a Honda Insight. It's not just the United States, it's the UK, it's France, and more importantly for me, it's Australia. When I go to World Time Attack, I don't have any resources. Well, I can use Turo and have a vehicle in another country. So really, a lot of different opportunities and a lot of different places that Turo can take you. Well, it's cool watching me have fun with Turo and renting a cool car. It's your turn. Click on the link in the bio or click on this QR code to book a car through Turo.
Tom Malloy swooped in and bought the program.
So this is an entire COSWORTH XD program.
Yes.
Wow.
So it's the engines, all of the literature that they have and we're willing to share. As you saw, the molds, the electronics, even old revision parts, and then you can kind of see the evolution of the engine spec over time. I guess different racetracks, or just year by year, month by month, even on this sort of a program, constantly developing. So all of that, it comes with it, like everything to support a program.
This is the program that was COSWORTH USA.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, COSWORTH USA went out of business, but closed.
Right.
And so that's kind of one of the reasons for this, I guess.
As they were closing the doors, they're much in the position we're in, where we're closing the doors, getting ready for an exciting new chapter in the new building, and what do we do with all this stuff?
Yeah. It looks like most of these motors don't run.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think they all suddenly, even if nothing else, after sitting here for all of this time, they at least need to be gone through.
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't bolt any of these straight in a car and hit the pedal.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, and then you guys have rebuilt them though. Like you have customers that you do this for, so you could help teach me how to do it properly.
Yeah. We've built others for people, either out of stock or some customers who bought retired INDYCARs have brought the engines in, and we've been through these before.
So if somebody has a retired INDYCAR and needs it rebuilt, they're going to go to them, not me. I might have the parts, but not the skill set or the time, most of the skill set to help you. So that goes to Ed Pink and the team here to get that done. This shows you just what everybody has been saying about these engines. All valve springs. Do not use. Just valve springs upon valve springs upon valve springs. So these are the ones that we shouldn't use, but that just shows you that really was a consumable item on an engine meant to do 15,000 RPMs.
Those are carbon trumpets right there, apparently.
This one?
It says carbon trumpets.
Okay, let's see how much carbon trumpeting are we doing. Oh shit, it's full. That's sick.
Super sick.
There is a very big chance right here.
Oh, that is it.
Is
That's
it?
100%
Oh,
it.
no way. No way.
We got one side at least.
There's two sides up there.
Snap.
One of the few just short blocks.
Yo, I guess this is kind of common. We had the same issue, right? All the washers in the middle.
Yeah, they'll just dropping them in there. That's the whole piston throw. That's all the way down, all the way up. Look at that. You can see the valve heads machined out. 2.65 liter V8. Dude, I just realized it's O-ringed. The block
way.
It's O-ringed to the head. Oh my god. That's the pre-turbo fuel injection system.
Oh, it's got injectors in it?
Injectors in it, even though we have spares.
That's sick.
That's the unit. But this one happens to have the engine mounts that I machined. That's very rare. Even for this, our car was obscure, and those parts are long gone. But this engine very well could have ran in this car. You know, it's XD28. I could probably ask the team.
I think we have 27, don't we?
I don't remember our number, but this engine it ran in a Lola, so we're one step closer to getting all the parts back together with the fuel pump, those engine mounts, the clutch, rebuild the transmission, and we can get the car completed from the very nose all the way to the very back of the car.
That's crazy. That's probably like maybe a month of work.
Yeah, a month at most of work. That's part-time working on it. We could definitely get this car, push a week, get this car fully together. On top of all of those other parts, we have these massive containers of cylinder liners, more cylinder liners, more cylinder liners, and my arch nemesis, pistons. So they're all brand new.
There's more stuff.
Oh yeah, excuse me, I'm sorry. Piston rings, engine bearings, more pistons, piston rings, and then it keeps going. Oh yeah.
I think these are short blocks.
Brand new short blocks. So not only do we have 20 engines of various conditions, but we also have enough parts to rebuild 20 of them. So this is like Indiana Jones in the Lost Ark. Let's see what's in the box. Or maybe it's like 7. What's in the box? It's all piston parts. Oh, this is cool. Those are the single piston rings. Let's see what one of these are. Oh, I didn't even expect it to be. Wait,
Oh, that's
it's the
sick.
pistons.
They're like brand new. They are brand new.
Look at that. They are brand new pistons. There's stacks of this. It's a coating to prevent that from dragging on the cylinder wall. So then this one is all the connecting rods.
That's sick.
That is so sick. Look how baby that is. My dad is so excited.
We're putting it together.
He's trying to build a motor right now.
James says we could.
This is the first time I've ever held or assembled a piston ever in my life. I've never held a piston like this.
And James is enabling this.
Yes.
It's easier in the rotary.
There you go. I'm sure there's obviously some snap rings to hold that in place. Just
Look at that. That's the piston.
we're finding that each of them have notes, and this one, honest to God, reads like a love letter. Enrique, this engine is missing parts. I miss you ever so dearly. We will find another one, Lauren. Well, it doesn't say that part in the middle. It says camshaft gears, but it seems like each of the engines have like a blown up, do not use, do not turn over, must be rebuilt. It's not 20 brand new engines. It's 20 engines, but 20 engines worth of parts. We're geeking out right now because there's a random pulley. This is fascinating because there's actually a whole gear and chain drive system in here. So this pulley is not something that you're powering, but it powers something else. These little holes here are little adapter plates that you could do different things. And mine looks like this, where there's that little hole drives a little hex piece that then does the fuel pump inside the tank. So we're just like fascinated that, you know, these were meant for 2 or 3 different chassis, and they all do something slightly different. So there is one caveat to all of this. We are not allowed to keep engine 001. This engine's probably not in my car ever, so I'm convincing myself that it doesn't matter, that they want to keep 001. So she stays back while we take all the rest of the engines with us to their happy new home. They get to keep engine number 1, but we get engine number 2. This one is a development engine. Like engine number 1, the whole camshaft, crankshaft, gear system is all gears. No belts, no chains, which would just make this piece a very fun thing to keep. My dad's the kid in the candy shop right now. He's like, ooh, shiny. And we're all like, uh-oh, what's he grabbing? He found this. It's for each engine. So XD077 went through a lot of adventures, changed the Lola specs. We could probably hunt down which ones did our car use.
Della
Penna? That's
us.
That's us. 34.
Engine 34.
That's us. So that's the only car that would have been a Della Penna car. That you found it. How in the hell?
So this might be your engine?
Well, it just means that we used it. It was in our car.
1998.
Just incredible. And then over here, may I interest you in the valves?
Oh, no way.
If the whole room caught on fire, this is the first thing I would grab. The COSWORTH fuel pump. On the INDYCAR specifically, there were multiple things to pull it from other areas of the bladder into where this one would pick it up. And it's all driven from the front right here through that quill drive. And it all connects to the edge of the car from here. And so to make one of these was going to be a complete pain in the ass. But now, we don't.
We have multiple.
Yeah. This has been months of searching, and of course we found the mother load for them. I just grabbed this, and it's like, oh, that looks like a strip bolt. But then I thought about it for a second, like, wait, that's done on purpose. That's a square hex drive. It's the drive quill for the fuel pump, LOL. LOL is for Lola. This is my fuel pump drive. This sits inside the fuel tank. This goes into there. And then this goes into the engine when you place the engine in, and that's the quill drive.
That does the thing.
It does the thing. Of course, these little caps are fighting me, but there you go. That's exactly it right there. Speaking of the fuel system.
Oh, sweet. That's a whole set.
A whole set. Those are the original injectors. I'm truly like a kid in the candy shop. Oh yeah, look at. We are 3 for 3 with all of our hardest to find pieces.
Oh, whoa.
There it is.
That's sick.
That is the 9th throttle body for the engine. You can use this as a strategy to mess with the turbo. All it is the overall air to the engine or not. So that goes on the very front of the motor. And we have the elbow that comes from here. This feels really weird because this is all my stuff now. But I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna take this. This is my box. I'm gonna take the 9th throttle body and then the fuel pump and then the drive, and that's all I need. Okay, but maybe the exhaust flanges. Where are the exhaust flanges? And then some of the spread. We have to figure out where we're gonna move all this stuff to. But for now, I want to complete an INDYCAR. We have a document issue, and it is one of the coolest things to have a problem with. It's time to modernize this. So what is all this paperwork, aside from relics from the 90s? It is everything related to each engine's build process. So technically the old stuff is not relevant because it's been rebuilt and modified, but the history is iconic. This is absolutely incredible. And each one of these that are kind of stapled or held together is basically the build number. That engine was rebuilt or something 27 times. We'll just take this one right here. So the last rebuild on that motor right there is switching it to magnesium cam covers. Not only do they have all the parts and what they've replaced that time, and this is the last time this engine was modified, so that's it. You see checklists of how they set the motor up. These motors have multiple setups, and it is really, really wild. Known issues, 400 miles put on during this race here. They were so far as to say this thing went to 14,700 RPM, and here's each of the sessions that engine experienced in that event. A massive list of all the parts, which this helps us big time because there are different versions of tappets, there are different versions of pistons, camshafts, springs, they're all listed in here. Any part that was reused, how many miles were on it, kept track of that. Things to check for cracks on, stuff that they knew would fail. They're talking about the deck height, they kept measuring it. I don't know what a squish worksheet is, but that's cool too. Each of the pistons, and this is my favorite page here. Rod bolt stretch sheet. They quite literally would measure and see how much stretch they were looking for on the bolt and then apply that amount of torque to get the correct amount of stretch. That's how obsessive the COSWORTH guys were on doing all of this. So this data is very valuable. They even have the fuel injectors flow testing. So these injectors are very small, by the way. They're 380 cc per minute. I looked them up, and then they're expecting 380 to 350. Each piston has 2. So you have these 16 injectors, and it's showing you how much each cylinder is flowing. So they were like spot on with this, testing the speeds and all this sort of stuff. There was no joke here. COSWORTH was leasing these engines out to these teams, so these teams could bitch if the engine wasn't built perfectly. And you can actually tell that they have issues occasionally. Teams saying it's down on power or something like that. They actually put a dollar amount, and one rebuild in '97 was $35,000. Mind you, that's closer to $70,000 in today money. These were not cheap. But again, all the part numbers, all the things that we're looking for, you'll see just little notes and details. And again, this is still just a refresh build. They were swapping the magnesium heads on this because they were changing the chassis it was going in. Not only is this information useful, the forms are beyond useful. We can use these forms to know what we're looking for when we are rebuilding it. And this is my favorite last page, post-dyno checklist. And so you can see, obviously, different people signed off. So spark plugs are torqued to a certain thing, ignition coils. They're telling you exactly what to do. That's absolutely amazing. So this information just made us way better at building these engines without even having any experience, thanks to COSWORTH. They say dress for the job you want, and I spent way too many years at the computer business dressed in khakis and polos to ever want to put on a nice suit ever again. But Christian, on the other hand, he's gonna make me feel underdressed. This engine is essentially a relic of the past, or is it? That's the really fascinating part about this. When I first got one of these for my INDYCAR, I thought, okay, well, this is period correct, which means it's not the best, it's just the best for that car. I was wrong. This engine, short of modern F1 engines, which aren't these, they're hybrid V6 and whatever weird engines, this is a pinnacle, not a relic. And I firmly believe that, especially for anybody in my position who doesn't have a $100 million company behind them like the brand actually is, I believe that this is the closest we get to godliness with motorsports, that you have a lot of these and you can extract a lot of power with modern technology. So this engine keeps blowing my mind that I thought, okay, well, it's a 99 engine. In 20 years, LS has probably got better than this. And that is the farthest thing from the truth. This engine weighs so much less, makes so much more power, but also is meant for something way more high strung. 15,000 RPM is what it was redlining at, and it could go to 16,000. Of course, that exponential wear on the engine was there, but this is a 15,000, not 13, not 14, not 14.5, 15,000 RPM engine, and that's what the build was meant for. That's an absolutely incredible thing because your LS doesn't do that. So this is quite the weird commitment in my case, but it's actually one of the biggest risks I've taken in a long time. I just see such a vision for it that it looks like it's an opportunity. Now, what do you do with 20 race engines? What do you do with a lot of COSWORTHs? Well, first of all, I need to learn how to really own that engine. Make it my baby, make it sing, make it work with the Haltech, make that car work, because that's what the engine's all about. And then, who knows, maybe I'll let a couple go for sale. Some other people can use it. It's great for hill climbing apparently, and other things where it weighs so little and makes a lot of horsepower, but it's unobtainium. And so in this case, I feel like maybe we can bring the racing world to the more grassroots world. I'm not sure, but that's like, you know, when you think you're gonna do something, at least that's the motivation behind it. So at this point, we've cataloged all of the engines. We know which ones were where and what was serviced to them, but coming up, we actually have one of the guys that were a manager, one of the racetrack support people for COSWORTH coming to the shop to teach us how to assemble, modify, manipulate, and truly extract all of the power out of these engines.